Hello, welcome to the Real Teal. We are your unofficial, official fan podcast about the Brisbane Heat and their performances in the BBL 12. I'm your host, Kyle Wright, and with me is Hayden Wright.
Hello.
And you'll see in the background there is Paddy Wright, who refuses to go to sleep tonight. So he's going to join us for this episode. So tonight we are going to talk about the Heat's very first game of the season, which was last Thursday at Kazali Stadium against the Melbourne Renegades, a team which we have a terrible record against, and that showed up once again when we lost to them last Thursday. Hit it. So that sound that you hear is the Brisbane Heat shooting themselves in the foot over and over again, as they did in the first game on Thursday. And again, history repeats itself, unlike split ends say. History is repeating itself once again with the Heat getting themselves in some trouble. I actually thought the bowling was pretty good. Bartlett had an off game, but that can happen in T20 cricket. I thought we took wickets at um, regular intervals to keep that run rate down. Nick Madison obviously had a good innings. Not sure what happened with those bails there. That was a weird one. But a team that wants to go on and win the competition really needs to be chasing down 160 odd to win. And once again, we found ourselves 3 for 30. And as I said in the preview, if the Heat continue to be 3 for 30, 4 for 40, we are not going to chase down many targets. And we need to keep our team afloat until Kawaja and Labuschagne come back into the side after the Test series. And we're just not going to do that with the way that we played on Thursday. What were your thoughts, Hayden?
Well, uh, Xavier Bartlett, 2 for 17 was after the game was not what I had in mind. He went for 0 for 51, so that was unlucky. And Baisley and Kuhneman did a pretty good job at bowling, and Baisley did a pretty good job at batting. I thought the Heat did a bit of a better job at batting than bowling.
Yeah.
And it was a bit weird with those bails because I was watching the minute just before this podcast and I was like, did the ball somehow hit the stump? I was very confused.
Yeah, and it's I like that you brought up Kuhneman there. I thought he actually bowled pretty well, and it'll be interesting to see if the Heat continue to go with the two spinners like they have in previous seasons with Majib and Swepson, and whether Kuhneman's going to take Majib's role there, or whether he makes way for Nessa when he comes back into the team, or is Nessa going to replace one of
Yes,
the quicks?
probably Renshaw's for taking Eugene spot.
Possibly, although I think
Yes.
Renshaw probably comes in for Josh Brown, who's in the squad as a replacement player. But I don't think we need to talk too much about the bowling. The bowling, I think, was fine. As I said, Bartlett had an off game, which can happen in T20. To go for 50 off three is not great, but he does bowl the tough overs, so that's you know, um, going to happen from time to time. But what we do need to talk about is that batting. Bryant again out in the first over. Uh, Pretty terrible shot if you ask me. You're gonna have to expect a spinner in that first over. Um, so Bryant just needs to work out what he's going to do at the start of his innings to make sure he's in there for the long haul. You can excuse Brown a little bit. It was his first game in the BBL. Munro was good at three, but ran out of partners. The pressure was on. Billings disappointing at four. Pearson, I thought, was great, and we're going to need a lot of that from Pearson for the rest of the season if we're going to be competitive at all. And once we were 5-6 down, it was really hard. And those lower order batters can hit a bit and can go if they've got overs at the back end. But if they're having to face 8 or 9 overs, it's just too much for them. So yeah, a very very disappointing batting effort there from the Heat.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really get to see that much of the batting. I ran out of time to watch the batting innings for the Heat just before the podcast, and I can't really remember from the last time I watched the mini. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we should talk about the next game. We face the Renegades again, and as I said earlier, we have a terrible record against them. I think we've only won 6 times and played them almost 20 times now. So yeah, absolutely terrible record. And we have to go down to Melbourne and try and turn it around. The only change I can really see is possibly Renshaw in for Brown because Renshaw was out for the birth of his baby, and but I can't really see any other changes, and it's that they're really going to have to step it up and you know fix it. Possibly bat first, take the scoreboard pressure off, but who knows? It was very disappointing, and let's just hope it's a one-off and that Munro and Billings can really anchor that middle order to get to some sort of total.
Oh, well, I would like to start with what our what we think the order is for the next game. So from 1 to 11. Do you want to start, Dad?
There you go. There you go.
Okay. So I've got Max Bryant and Sam Hazlitt as the openers, and then I've got Colin Munro at 3. Then I've got Matthew Renshaw potential. Otherwise, if he's still out for the birth of his baby, it will be Josh Brown. Then I've got Sam Billings, Ross Whiteley, then Jimmy Pearson. Then I've got James Basley, Xavier Bartlett, Mark Steckity, and Mitchell Swetson. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's very similar to my team. I've got Bryant again. He must be close to his last opportunity. Really needs to step up before Kawaja comes back. Brown, if Renshaw's not back, if not, maybe Renshaw in for him. Munro at 3, Billings at 4, Pearson at 5, Baisley 6, Bartlett 7, and what do we got? I think I've missed someone, but Kuhneman, Swepson, and Steckity in there as well. So yeah, I'm not too really fussed on an 11. Pretty much similar to last game. I just think maybe Renshaw in for Brown. We'll see how we go. But they just need to start better with the bat and do better through those middle overs.
Yeah, and if Renshaw is still out, or if Josh Brown is somehow out of the game, I'd probably put Kuhneman in, and probably for 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll be hearing this next podcast and a bit of this, and hopefully not this.
That's cool, by the way.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and we'll review our next game against the Gades. Hopefully this time we turn it around and reverse the result. All right. Thanks for watching.
I have one more thing.